What I'm really looking for is a bit of forgiveness.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at 30 of the most outrageous, complained about British TV moments.
I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I really got it wrong.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 30, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
You know this, all right, but nobody else does. There's millions of people out there who've never heard of us.
The outrage here wasn't about the show or ITV, but about the real-life scandal that was dramatized, despite the case being an immense miscarriage of justice ongoing for 20 years. A lot of people in the UK just hadn't heard of it.
They're not calling me a thief. They wouldn't dare. They say money's somehow gone missing from this branch, which it hasn't, and I have to pay it back. Which I won't.
The issue was that sub-postmasters working for the post office were given dodgy computers that imagined losses of tens of thousands or sometimes hundreds of thousands of pounds, with the post office privately prosecuting them for theft.
The post office are suing us for £26,000, which we didn't steal, and we haven't got hanging around in piggy banks.
18 months on, and despite much government hand-wringing after the series aired, many of those wrongfully prosecuted sub-postmasters were still waiting for proper compensation. Some people over the years even took their own lives because of the stress of the court case.
Joe, the post office don't need the police. The post office has the right to run its own criminal investigations, all the way to the Crown Court. It's been that way for 300 years.
Number 29, Jack Fincham's ex, Love Island.
Oh my god. That's bad. I'll see him for a minute. I'll see him for a minute. Oh my god.
Though they've since broken up, Jack Fincham and Danny Dyer were together from the beginning of the 4th series of Love Island. They eventually won, but along the way, it looked like the show's producers got bored of Jack and Danny's popularity and general lack of drama, so they drafted in Jack's ex-girlfriend, Ellie Jones. She later claimed that she was sent on purpose to break them up.
But Jack looked so shocked in the video, he actually said it a few times, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
At one point, Danny was shown an out-of-context video of Jack reacting to Ellie's arrival, which got hundreds of Ofcom complaints, with producers accused of manipulating contestants and tricking Danny into thinking Jack had cheated on her, which he hadn't. This whole saga was a damning indictment of how far reality TV will go to create drama.
Like, imagine, it's a girl that he's recently been seeing, he clearly had feelings for to be seeing her, and now she's in it. I just knew it was too good to be true.
Number 28, Richard Bacon, Blue Peter.
One of the Sunday newspapers reported that Richard Bacon, a Blue Peter presenter, had taken an illegal drug. Richard admits that he has done this, and that he very much regrets it.
In 1998, Bacon became the first Blue Peter presenter to have his contract terminated mid-series. He'd been papped taking illegal substances by The News of the World, who then took things further and published lurid, baseless allegations that he'd been using the Blue Peter tortoises to facilitate his substance misuse.
Do you remember Fred and Frida, the tortoises on Blue Peter?
Yeah.
Big white lines.
Well, he gave them coke.
I didn't give any tortoises coke, right?
He was sacked, and the BBC had to bring on its head of children's programmes to explain to the Blue Peter viewers what had happened, and Bacon's badge was revoked.
But there was also some sad news. You'll no doubt have heard that Richard is no longer on the programme.
Yes, he agrees he had to leave, and like you, we are really going to miss him.
In the years since, Bacon's career has recovered, and he was eventually given a new Blue Peter badge to make up for the ruthless way they got rid of him. Number 27, Kay Burley goes to Alton Towers, Sky News.
Chessington World of Adventures and Thorpe Park. You've closed rides there as well. Those potentially were just accidents waiting to happen too.
No, not at all.
The Smiler had barely been open for 2 years when it was involved in a truly horrific crash, with one roller coaster train crashing into another empty train. It was a miracle that nobody died, and multiple victims needed to have their legs amputated. But this interview happened in the immediate aftermath of the crash, when nobody knew the extent of the injuries suffered.
Smiler is being dismantled as we speak, isn't it?
There is work going on Smiler so that the health and safety executive can examine those parts of the ride that they need to look at.
Scant reports suggested at least one person had lost a limb, and Kay Burley jumped on this to attack the CEO of Merlin Entertainment, the company that owns the park, Nick Varney. The public didn't like this though, and produced a petition to try and get Burley sacked. However, Merlin was ultimately prosecuted and then sued separately by the victims.
Well, people were seriously injured, and suggestions that someone's lost a limb as a result of what happened at Alton Towers. Has somebody lost a limb on that ride?
I'm not going to comment on any of those press speculations.
Number 26, Tetris, Sky News.
Now, Tetris has long been touted as a video game that just can't be beaten because it just goes on and on.
There was global outrage about this moment, also on Sky News, when Jane Secker was dismissive about a 13-year-old boy's video game achievement. The boy, William Gibson, became the first human being to beat the original version of Tetris. Previously, only computers had gotten to the end and encountered the famous kill screen, where the game collapses and can't generate any more tetrominos.
As a mother, I would just say step away from the screen, go outside, get some fresh air. Beating Tetris is not a life goal.
Secker said that he should go outside and that beating a video game wasn't a worthwhile use of his time, causing massive backlash online. It doesn't seem to have affected Secker or her career, however, nor did she bother to address the controversy or apologize.
Well done, that child. Please go out and get some fresh air.
Number 25, Gunther von Hagens.
Gunther is part doctor, part artist. He creates fascinating and beautiful, I think, works of art from human corpses.
What could possibly be controversial about performing a public autopsy? Well, everything, it turns out. While a lot of people were desperate to see von Hagens' plastinated creations, it was actually illegal for him to perform this autopsy. But despite police turning up to watch, nobody bothered to arrest him, and the dissection was later broadcast on Channel 4, earning Ofcom complaints.
I should imagine your corpses don't talk at all, do they?
That's the difference.
That's the difference, yes. Do you feel comfortable, more comfortable with the dead than the living?
Very.
He also tried to make many additional autopsy shows, though lots of them haven't gone ahead. You could argue that there's some educational value to this, but it's highly disturbing and, again, against the law, because public autopsies aren't legal.
I'm a public anatomist. What I do, I use body donors, which I transform into a new entity.
Number 24, are you okay? This morning.
You, me, and all of us at This Morning gave our love and support to someone who was not telling the truth.
After the Q fiasco, people were looking for any reason to get Schofield and Willoughby kicked off our screens, and they got it in 2023 when Schofield was made to resign after his affair with a male runner working at ITV was revealed. But something else stuck out. Holly Willoughby's address to the nation once she returned to This Morning, in which she asked the viewing public this immortal question.
Right, deep breath. Firstly, are you okay?
It became an instant meme, and like everything to do with this scandal, an immense overreaction.
I imagine that you might have been feeling a lot like I have. Shaken, troubled, let down.
We understand that Scove had been lying to Holly, but the public at home certainly weren't as traumatized by his betrayal as ITV wanted to believe. Number 23, Nick Ferrari's airline, This Morning.
But I'd love to run an airline. I don't know about you. Here are some of the restrictions. No babies or children who cry.
This Morning was again hit with Ofcom complaints after this segment with Nick Ferrari. He talked about his dream airline and how he'd love to be able to eat peanuts on it, sick of the tyrannical airlines saying he wasn't allowed just in case somebody on the plane suffered an allergic reaction.
Right, and if you don't like peanuts, don't get on the plane either, because I do, and I can't eat them because someone's at the back of the plane is going to drop dead or something if I have a peanut. I don't quite know why.
There were 600 complaints and an apology on the next episode, with allergy advocates talking about the importance of people being empathetic and considerate when faced with serious allergens. Many thought that Ferrari was being dismissive.
So that's my airline.
Oh, where do I begin to start unpacking this?
But the facts are that if you open a bag of nuts on a plane, somebody else on the plane could die, and their life is more important than your snack.
Let's move on, thank you, Nicholas.
Number 22, women of a certain age. MasterChef.
And they just said, tell me about food, which I did. And they said, right, we're going to be remaking MasterChef. They said, we've got a chef, we want someone else.
In 2024, MasterChef was rocked when dozens of women came forward with stories of inappropriate behavior from Greg Wallace. It was primarily women who'd worked with him on editions of Celebrity MasterChef, including Melanie Sykes, Kirsty Walk, Emma Kennedy, Ulrika Johnson, Kirsty Alsop, and more.
Now, in the newspaper, I can see the complaints coming from a handful of middle-class women of a certain age just from Celebrity MasterChef.
This led to him posting a video to his Instagram saying that the allegations came from, quote, middle-class women of a certain age, apparently not understanding that veteran broadcasters are the only women powerful enough to speak out publicly about behavior like this without their entire careers being destroyed. Wallace was dropped from MasterChef and has since apparently become a personal trainer.
We see no reason why I can't keep getting fitter and stronger all the way into my 70s. If I can have this impact now on people at 57, imagine the impact I can have at 75.
Number 21, the BNP. Question time.
And it's that difference, by the way, the fact that the BNP defines itself on race, which distinguishes it from every other political party I can think of.
In 2009, the British National Party had some shocking election success with its usual hardline anti-immigration rhetoric, and the BBC decided to invite Nick Griffin onto Question Time. There was public outcry thanks to Griffin's own political beliefs, including a conviction for inciting racial hatred and denying the Holocaust.
Finally, my father was in the RAF during the Second World War, while Mr. Straw's father was in prison for refusing to fight Adolf Hitler.
Widespread protests didn't stop the BBC, and the episode was filmed and broadcast, with many of the questions being attacks on the BNP and its beliefs.
Wait a minute, what's that got to do with the issue? What's that got to do with the issue?
In the end, though, Griffin was awkward and uncharismatic on camera, and the BNP quickly lost all its relevance. Some suggested the public saw Griffin for what he was, an inarticulate fascist.
All you're thinking of doing is trying to sort of poison politics. And yes, you are. Poison politics and poison the minds of people in this country.
Number 20, offensive slur. Gavin and Stacey.
Bryn, let's do this.
In the run-up to the 2019 Gavin and Stacey reunion Christmas special, much was said about the decision for Bryn and Nessa to sing Fairy Tale of New York, complete with its divisive slur.
Well now everyone, as is a biannual tradition, Lil Ness and I are going to sing you a Christmas song.
Though we're all by now very tired of this debate, and it can be avoided entirely by just using the alternate lyrics that Kirsty MacColl herself wrote, there might be more to this particular row than meets the eye.
Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank.
The choice of the song did, undoubtedly, generate a lot of free publicity for the reunion, though we don't know if James Corden caused controversy on purpose to get some more attention. And interestingly, an alternative version was recorded, which is the one that gets re-aired. Number 19, Jeremy Corbyn's hat. Newsnight.
So do you accept that Labour has continued that failure then?
People on either side of the political divide are losing faith in the BBC, with claims of bias coming from all fronts. But does this incident in 2018 show a time the BBC's bias was more on the right?
At the heart of it is the problem that we didn't offer a clear enough alternative at the last election.
A baffling controversy emerged after Newsnight was accused of editing a photo of Jeremy Corbyn, still the Labour leader at the time, to make his winter hat appear more Russian. Of course, the image of Corbyn was also put against a red background featuring Moscow's famous St. Basil's Cathedral. Newsnight was reporting on Corbyn's comments on the Salisbury poisonings, however, which led to them denying that the imagery was unfair. it's still not clear what the truth is.
Maybe Parliament could rotate. Maybe we could show that we are one Britain and actually have sessions of Parliament elsewhere. I'm open to that idea.
Number 18. Coughing. Who wants to be a millionaire? In 2001, Charles Ingram, his wife Diana, and her brother Adrian got it into their heads that they could game the system and come away with the jackpot on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
It's worth 30.
Both Diane and Adrian had tried before and failed, leaving it to Charles, who did win the jackpot. However, ITV certainly wasn't convinced, noticing coughs coming from the audience that seemed to indicate the correct answers.
I think it was Holbein.
All three were later put on trial for what they did and were convicted, though they denied it the entire time, and Ingram wasn't allowed to claim his prize.
You just won $1 million!
Number 17, Sean Walsh and Katya Jones. Strictly Come Dancing. In hindsight, this controversy seems baffling to say the least. Yes, cheating on your significant other is a bad thing to do, but was it so bad that it had to dominate the country's front pages for the better part of 2 weeks?
I'm joined now by Sean and Katya. Now, on It Takes Two, we like to talk about the dancing, but that's been somewhat overshadowed by events this week.
Regardless, that's what happened, with the tabloids generating lots of outrage when the so-called Strictly Curse struck again. They stayed on the show, but were voted off as soon as the public got a say, with both of their careers in tatters and relationships destroyed.
Is there anything else that either of you'd like to say?
I think that, obviously I'm sorry for the hurt that I've caused.
Did they get what they deserved? Who's to say? But at least, as Walsh pointed out in his return to stand-up, people stopped talking about Brexit for a while.
Sean, your ex-girlfriend Rebecca has put out a statement. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
I think, first of all, I would rather not be having to address this publicly.
Number 16, Watership Down. Though Watership Down received a theatrical release back in the 70s and went on to traumatise thousands of Brits, we're remembering one particular incident where it was aired on television.
Covered with blood. Blood? Don't be silly.
On Easter Sunday 2016, Channel 5 decided to show Watership Down before the watershed. It makes sense. It's ostensibly a children's film about rabbits after all.
This is it. The wire's on a peg. We've got to dig it out. The peg's narrower down.
But as we all know, Watership Down is notable for its violent scenes and the graphic deaths of so many of its main characters.
Great messages.
It's not clear how many people complained, but the ones who did were quite vocal online. Not that Channel 5 seemed to care. Number 15, Matt Hancock in the Jungle. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Matt Hancock might have been the only person more notorious for cheating on his significant other in recent years than Sean Walsh.
I thought you broke lockdown rules.
No, I did not.
All right,
I didn't break any...
You were socialising someone outside of your household.
Yeah, I didn't break any laws. Guidance is different, but anyway, I don't want to go
so there's a rule and there's a law.
Hancock was filmed copping off with one of his staffers, and the footage was released by The Sun in 2021 in violation of his own COVID rules.
So why did you break your own guidance?
Because it was a mistake, because I fell in love with somebody and...
And I was taken by love.
Well, it's true.
He resigned as health secretary, but then signed up to I'm a Celebrity, while still a sitting MP, outraging his constituents. Hancock did quite well in the competition, though he was grilled by his fellow contestants about his mishandling of the pandemic and had the Tory whip removed for disappearing while Parliament was in session.
What I do appreciate is that you did eat a sheep's vagina for us.
Number 14, Naked Education.
Teneke, do we need to see naked bodies in a classroom just to know that human beings come in different shapes and sizes?
The precursor to Naked Education, Naked Attraction, was already controversial enough, with its naysayers claiming it made people's body image issues worse. Seemingly to counter this, Channel 4 hit back with the more sensitive follow-up. But people weren't happy with this either.
So at the end of the day, we need to look at it from their perspective. And if you want to educate children, if you're going to show naked bodies, I think it's going to actually deter from the actual education as well.
The issue some saw was the show's Naked Brigade, a roster of nude adults who show their bodies to teenagers in a classroom setting in a more cutting-edge approach to sex ed. Well, unsurprisingly, people weren't happy, believing this was a massive safeguarding issue. They complained in droves, saying they certainly wouldn't want their children to have seen somebody else without any clothes on.
Because they've had authority approval of that kind of thing?
I don't think, no, not in the same way that giving them sex education isn't going to make them run out and have sex. I don't think seeing a naked body is going to make them decide to strip off and start running around the school naked or start flashing strangers.
Number 13, Terribly White.
There is the reason we have King Charles III and Queen Camilla in the imperial state crown.
The most complained about moment of 2023 came about during the coronation of King Charles III. It was a comment made by actress Adjoa Andoh on ITV's coverage. Andoh has most recently starred in Bridgerton, but will be a familiar face to many. Andoh said that the royal balcony of Buckingham Palace looked terribly white when the new king and queen emerged, which got over 8,000 complaints to Ofcom.
A wave to the crowd and the crowd waves back.
Andoh later went on Radio 4 to apologise, saying she didn't mean to upset anybody. The complaints weren't upheld, however, with Ofcom saying Andoh was well within her right to freedom of expression.
He can just about remember the coronation balcony moment, and ever since then he's been seeing these scenes, but you know, he's leading them today. He's the one they're here to see.
He does look relaxed, he's taking it all in, and it must be quite a scene.
Number 12, Prince Andrew, Newsnight. More from the royals, who can forget the legendary hour of television in which Prince Andrew decimated his own reputation, apparently without even realising.
Because she was very specific. She described the dance that you had together in Tramp, she described meeting you. She was a 17-year-old girl.
He agreed to a Newsnight interview to clear up certain allegations made against him with regards to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, but nobody was convinced.
She provided a photo of the two of you together.
Yes.
Your arm was around her waist.
Yes.
You've seen the photo.
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
I can't.
Among other things, he notoriously claimed he couldn't sweat and that he couldn't have been involved in the crimes committed because he'd been at Pizza Express.
I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Andrew has since been retired from public life and stripped of many of his titles, including his HRH, and is no longer a working royal. Number 11, Qgate, This Morning.
Well, we wanted to come to pay our respects to the Queen because she was just such an amazing person.
From one very unpopular royal to quite possibly the most beloved monarch we've ever had. In September 2022, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II passed away. Her coffin was brought down from Balmoral to Westminster Hall, where she lay in state while members of the public came to pay their respects.
The rules were that we would be quickly escorted around the edges to a platform at the back. In contrast, those paying respects walked along a carpeted area beside the coffin.
The queue to see the Queen went back for miles and took hours to get through, unless of course you worked for ITV. A massive scandal emerged when Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby supposedly jumped the queue. They technically didn't do this, but the damage was done. Months later, and Schofield resigned in the midst of another scandal, but to many, Qgate was the first domino to fall.
And therefore totally understand the reaction. Please know that we would never jump a queue.
Number 10, Piers Morgan versus Helen Whatley. Good Morning Britain.
I don't know why you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Well,
you said I'm telling you what it is. It's actually very serious.
This explosive interview on Good Morning Britain in April 2020 was so controversial, it led to Downing Street banning senior ministers from making an appearance for months, and Piers Morgan himself being prevented from attending the government's press briefings.
So the latest information we have for NHS workers is that 19
They just work as
That's
a very
complete nonsense.
Questioning Care Minister Helen Whatley about the high number of deaths in care homes due to mismanagement of the global pandemic, Whatley ended up laughing and trying to dodge Pierce's questions about the many unnecessary fatalities.
I think it's really, really important to take the steps that we
No,
can.
I'll tell you what's really important is that you just answer straight questions. Is it true that 4,000 people... Why are you laughing?
I'm coming to answer your question, but I'm not...
What do you find funny about this?
Pierce was later hit with thousands of Ofcom complaints about his notoriously aggressive interview style, though neither he nor Whatley came out of the clip looking good. Number 9. Drag performance. Strictly Come Dancing. 2020's musical-themed week was opened with a dance routine inspired by Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, a 2006 musical based on a 1994 film about a group of drag queens driving through the outback.
Give me a break. I was never that famous.
I'm not joking.
But the performance received about 100 Ofcom complaints from people claiming the musical was inappropriate because Strictly is a family show. Strictly producers hit back by saying the show is, and always has been, inclusive. Just a few months earlier though, it was hit with even more complaints about having a same-sex dance partnership, and in 2019, a one-off same-sex routine ruffled feathers as well. In all cases, the BBC was cleared of any wrongdoing. Number 8. Kim and Colleen reunite. Loose Women.
I know what I went through.
No, let her rant on.
I know what I went through.
Awful. It was
Why do
awful
you
what
think
you
you-
went through, Kim. Us.
Colleen Nolan was voted the winner of the 19th series of Celebrity Big Brother, and ex-housemate Kim Woodburn, whose time in the house was more than a little inflammatory, didn't keep her anger to herself. They were bitter rivals during CBB, with Kim accusing Colleen of being two-faced. But far more outrageous than anything that happened in the house was when ITV staged a reunion of Kim and Colleen on Loose Women.
You know what you did, and I'm going to tell you something.
I tell you what I
Here,
did. I
just a
didn't
minute.
tell you how vile you are from day one. That's
you,
what
my
I should
dear,
have done.
you, my dear.
You're a horrible, self-centered, publicity-seeking witch.
Janet Street Porter was the judge trying to put an end to the feud, but things didn't go as planned.
I don't want to draw a line on
You don't want
because
to
I will
pick-
never forget what the likes of her and 7 others put me through.
Okay, well,
I'll never forget it, never.
But,
because
Kim,
it was sad and awful and it was bloody cruel.
Suffice to say, Kim wasn't actually interested in reconciliation and walked off set.
I wouldn't want to sit and talk to lying
Well, I
trash
think
like
that's
you.
sad. I think we should have drawn the line.
Yeah, no.
Both of them were on the verge of tears by the end. Number 7. Diversity's tribute to BLM. Britain's Got Talent. After making their name on Britain's Got Talent back in 2009, London-based dance troupe Diversity returned to the show to perform over 10 years later.
Another disease, deep-rooted in our system. Fear, hate and ignorance, but racism was the symptom.
But thousands of viewers had a problem with the issues Diversity raised in their performance as they addressed the Black Lives Matter movement.
But I think what they tried to do was well-intentioned but very misguided, and the British public have said, you know what, we don't want this. It was pre-Watershed, it was very violent, it was, portraying police brutality and the kneeling on necks and...
Complaints claimed that the dance was offensive to white viewers and that it wasn't appropriate for family viewing, with the tabloids also jumping on the story to lambast Diversity for their stance. Ultimately, Ofcom cleared Britain's Got Talent of any wrongdoing on the grounds of freedom of expression.
I mean, we were climbing to the most complained about TV moment of the day. I really wanted number 1. I felt like I was climbing the chart. I really did, but we got to number 2 and then kind of Ofcom ruled that they weren't going to investigate.
Wow. Number 6. Clarkson on The One Show. The One Show.
They just keep going. But they don't. They always stop in Reading. Why are you looking so shocked?
I mean, I'm not sure.
They always stop for hours.
Though he's had a long and incredibly successful career in television, Jeremy Clarkson has been at the centre of many, many controversies during his lifetime. But his comments on The One Show in 2011 were so extreme, he was forced to issue a public apology.
But others, including many supporters of yesterday's strike, failed to see the funny side. They saw a combination of bad taste and a politically motivated attack.
He started out by saying people who end their lives by jumping in front of trains are selfish, and ended with some now notorious remarks that workers carrying out industrial action in the 2011 public sector strikes should be executed.
I mean, how dare they go on strike when they've got these gilt-edged pensions that are going to be guaranteed while the rest of us have to work for a living?
Clarkson amassed an immense 21,000 complaints to Ofcom. The One Show itself also had to apologise to the trade unions organising the strike. Number 5. EastEnders Baby Swap. EastEnders. The soaps have a long history of tackling current affairs and real-world issues, including one contentious storyline tackling sudden infant death syndrome.
Come on now, open your eyes.
When Kat and Ronnie both gave birth in the same episode, Ronnie's baby died of cot death, leading her to actually switch the two babies and steal Kat's son, Tommy.
Don't cry.
The backlash to EastEnders was so huge that there were even rumours actors might quit the show.
That's not my baby. Come on. That's not my baby. That's not my baby.
The storyline was criticised both for being an extremely distressing plot to air pre-Watershed and for being medically inaccurate, but remarkably, despite over 13,000 complaints, the BBC was cleared of wrongdoing.
Better late than never, I can.
Number 4. Race Row. Celebrity Big Brother. Many TV controversies are a lot of fuss over nothing, with Ofcom rarely actually getting involved. But this was not the case for the 5th series of Celebrity Big Brother, which landed Channel 4 in hot water. Indian contestant and eventual winner Shilpa Shetty received abuse from fellow housemates, most notably Jade Goody, Goody's family, and Danielle Lloyd. Ofcom got involved, ultimately receiving over 44,000 complaints total, as did the police. It was even discussed by members of parliament. The scandal was so severe that Big Brother was only saved by being picked up by Channel 5, with Channel 4 unable to weather the storm. Number 3. Live Ghost Investigation. Ghostwatch. Nowadays, paranormal TV shows are a common sight, with most of them taking quite a lot of liberties with the truth to try and scare the public. But in 1992, Ghostwatch was something people had never seen before.
Susie. Stop it! Stop it, Susie!
Set up like a live ghost investigation program, Ghostwatch was actually scripted and full of special effects. It was so convincing. Hosted by credible broadcaster Michael Parkinson, viewers up and down the country believed what they were seeing, despite the fact it aired on Halloween.
No! Go away! Mum, help me! Don't leave me, Mum!
Have we lost the link completely?
This led to tens of thousands of complaints from people extremely distressed by what they had witnessed, believing Parky really had been possessed on live TV, and Ghostwatch has never been rebroadcast. Number 2, Chris Morris gets in trouble. Brass Eye.
These are our children. They skip down our streets, but the paedophile is waiting.
One of the most controversial shows ever made, Chris Morris's magnum opus is still as hilariously offensive today as it was in the 90s. But 2001's one-off special, Petergeddon, was so outrageous, it got the entire show canned forever by Channel 4.
How brazen and shameless is the modern paedophile? Well, take a look at this card here. What sort of sick individual puts things like this up in a telephone box? What sort of thing was going through his mind?
Lampooning the British press's obsession with uncovering and branding people as paedophiles, Morris managed to convince celebrities like Gary Lineker to repeat absolute nonsense along with creating iconic comedy sketches like the one disguised as a school.
We're after your help too. Security footage of a paedophile disguised as a school. He's been getting away with it in Sheffield for 12 years. Do you know him? Have you seen him? Please call. 3,000
complaints made their way to Ofcom, and Morris also earned the ire of the very tabloids he was mocking, like the Daily Star and the Mail. Number 1, Punchgate, Celebrity Big Brother.
I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I really got it wrong.
It's never been entirely clear why Roxanne Pallett decided to accuse housemate Ryan Thomas of physically assaulting her, but she definitely did, and the fallout was extreme.
My mind ran away with me. I am a sensitive person, only my family and friends can vouch for that.
Since the Big Brother house has cameras in every nook and cranny, the alleged incident was caught on tape, and everybody except Pallett was in agreement that Thomas did nothing wrong. Regardless, the next few days saw the show receive tens of thousands of complaints as Pallett tried to turn other housemates against Thomas.
In the moment, it felt worse than it was. I can't prove a feeling.
Eventually, she quit, and Thomas was the show's final ever winner before its cancellation. Though she wanted to end his career, she's the one who struggled to get out from the shadow of the accusation.
I massively apologise to not just Ryan, to his family, his friends, his fans, every single person that watched that.
Let us know in the comments which outrageous controversies we missed.
I dissect them, and after dissection I take the water out and put by vacuum process plastic in.
Okay, can I stop and ask you?
Without water, no decay.
Yeah.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.